While the world's eyes are locked on SpaceX and NASA, another player has just made a move, one so quiet, so calculated, and so bold that most people didn't even notice. But in the vast silence of deep space, something big is happening. And it's not coming from the West, it's coming from China. In late May 2025, China launched a spacecraft on a mission that's never been attempted in human history. A 10-year operation across multiple celestial bodies, designed not just to explore, but to collect, return, and then keep going. No other nation has ever done this. Not the United States, not Europe, not Russia. And they didn't announce it with flashy live streams or cinematic countdowns. They just did it. This move signals something deeper than a scientific milestone. It's a quiet flex of technological muscle, an indication that China isn't just catching up in space exploration. It's laying the groundwork to lead. And yet almost no one in the public noticed. No breaking news headlines, no viral clips. But if you understand what just happened and what's coming next, you'll see why this might be one of the most important space missions of the decade. So what is Tianwen 2? What exactly is China trying to achieve in deep space, and why should the rest of the world be paying closer attention? Let's break it down. On May 24, 2025, under a sky glowing with early summer haze, a Long March 5 rocket lifted off from China's Wenchang Space Launch Center. Its payload, Tianwen 2, a spacecraft designed for one of the boldest deep space missions humanity has ever attempted. At first glance, the mission seems simple: travel to an asteroid, collect samples, and return them to Earth. But Tianwen 2 doesn't stop there. Once it drops off the samples back on Earth, it keeps going. Its next destination? A distant comet. This mission is not just ambitious, it's unprecedented. Here's the plan in detail. Target 1, a near-Earth asteroid named 469219 Kamo-Oalewa. Tianwen 2 will rendezvous with it, land briefly, and collect surface material. Scientists believe this asteroid might be a fragment from the Moon itself. Sample return. The collected material will be stored in a capsule and sent back to Earth around 2031. Then, Phase 2 begins. After releasing the return capsule, Tianwen 2 will redirect itself using gravity assists, initiating a new journey toward a main belt comet named 311P/PANSTARRS, an icy relic from the early solar system. This two-stage mission, asteroid and comet in one flight, is a world first. No other space agency has launched a craft that both returns samples and continues to explore. And it's not just the destinations that are groundbreaking. Tianwen 2 carries advanced robotic arms, AI-driven navigation, and autonomous retargeting capabilities. In simple terms, it's built to think, adapt, and survive deep space, alone. So why is China doing this? Because mastering long-term, multi-target missions is the next frontier in space. It's how humanity will explore the asteroid belt, mine resources, and eventually leap beyond Mars. And while others are still testing reusable rockets, China is quietly sending autonomous explorers on decade-long journeys into the unknown. Tianwen 2 isn't just a mission, it's a statement. Tianwen 2 isn't just a spacecraft, it's a message. And that message is clear. China is not only in the space race, it's innovating in ways no one else is. Think about it. The United States, Japan, and the European Space Agency have all sent missions to asteroids or comets, but they all followed a similar pattern: go, collect, return. Tianwen 2 breaks that model. Instead of returning to Earth and calling it a day, this craft is engineered to evolve mid-mission. It transitions from a sample return probe into an interplanetary explorer. That's like launching a drone to deliver a package and then sending it across the ocean for scientific research, all without refueling or repairs. This level of autonomy and adaptability is rare in space exploration. Why is that important? Because deep space missions demand more than just raw power. They require long-term planning, self-correction, and intelligent onboard systems that can operate without human input for years. And that's exactly what Tianwen 2 is testing. Let's break down what this means. Long-term autonomy. Tianwen 2's second mission could begin years after its first phase ends. That means the spacecraft must survive prolonged inactivity and wake up in deep space without assistance. Dual-purpose design. The same hardware built for sample collection is also optimized for comet observation, showcasing modular and flexible engineering. AI integration. This mission pushes the limits of AI-driven navigation and decision-making, paving the way for future missions that won't rely on real-time commands from Earth. Here's where it gets geopolitical. If China masters multi-phase, long-distance AI-led missions before others, it won't just be a scientific victory. It will be a technological and strategic edge. Imagine future missions. Autonomous spacecraft mining resources from asteroids, long-range robotic explorers claiming key orbits, deep space outposts launched and maintained without direct Earth control. These aren't sci-fi scenarios. They're on the drawing board. And Tianwen 2, it's the prototype. So while the world watches flashy rocket landings, China is playing a different game. A longer one, a quieter one, but maybe the one that wins. Officially, Tianwen 2 is a scientific mission, a probe to collect cosmic dust and study the origins of our solar system. But behind the clean press releases and polished images, there are whispers from scientists, leaked reports, and international analysts, suggesting something deeper is at play. And it starts with one question. Why is China investing billions in a mission that takes 10 years to finish and goes far beyond what's necessary for science? According to documents reviewed by the Global Times Science Division in mid-2025, Tianwen 2 is not just a single mission. It's a testbed, a proving ground for a new class of spacecraft designed for resource prospecting in deep space. Hidden among its secondary instruments are sensors capable of detecting metallic composition and volatile materials, the same kind of data needed to locate valuable resources like nickel, cobalt, and water ice on asteroids. If you connect the dots, the picture becomes clearer. Tianwen 2 might be the first step toward extraterrestrial mining. There's more. At the 2024 Zhuhai Aerospace Expo, a closed-door presentation by the Chinese Academy of Sciences discussed a project codenamed Deep Origin, a planned network of AI-controlled satellites designed to map near-Earth asteroids in real time. The goal: create an autonomous space resource map, a digital catalog of what's worth mining and where. Now think about that. While most countries are still debating international space law, China is already building the system to own the data. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Rumors among space analysts suggest that Tianwen 2's navigation software is linked to the same AI architecture used in China's Lunar Construction Research Program, the one developing 3D printing with lunar soil. That means the knowledge gained from this mission, how to identify materials, extract and process them remotely, could directly apply to building habitats on the moon. So maybe Tianwen 2 isn't just about exploring what's out there, it's about preparing to build out there. To the casual observer, it's a robotic probe traveling millions of kilometers from Earth. To those paying attention, it's a blueprint, a quiet rehearsal for a future where China leads not just in exploration, but in ownership. And if that's true, Tianwen 2 isn't just a spacecraft. It's the beginning of a new kind of economy, one that starts in the cold, silent dark of deep space. Tianwen 2 may be drifting silently through the cosmos, but its impact is echoing loudly across the global space community. The mission arrives at a critical moment, when the balance of power in space exploration is starting to shift. For decades, NASA has led the frontier. But in the last 5 years, China has rapidly closed the gap. And now, some analysts are warning, the real space race has just begun. In early 2025, the Commercial Space Federation published a report predicting that China could surpass the United States in space capabilities within the next 5 to 10 years. That includes everything from lunar infrastructure and asteroid mining to satellite dominance and AI-led exploration. Unlike the Cold War era, today's space race isn't about flags or moon landings. It's about data, infrastructure, and long-term control. And Tianwen 2 fits perfectly into that strategy. While NASA battles political delays and private companies juggle profit and vision, China is executing a long, methodical plan, one that's state-backed, well-funded, and rooted in decades of national ambition. And they're not doing it alone. China has expanded partnerships with Russia, Pakistan, the UAE, and several African nations, forming a growing alliance in space operations. Even more, they're developing their own GPS alternative, satellite internet, and potentially a global space economy under Chinese leadership. In this context, Tianwen 2 isn't just a scientific triumph. It's a flag planted in the silence, not for glory, but for influence. It's China saying, we're not following anymore. We're leading now, and that changes everything. Right now, Tianwen 2 is alone, drifting silently through the vastness of space, unseen by the naked eye, untouched by human hands. No headlines, no countdowns, just data, being recorded, decisions, being made far beyond Earth's control. And yet, this quiet probe may represent the most important shift in space exploration since Apollo. Because what Tianwen 2 really shows us is that the future of space might not arrive with a bang. It might come silently, strategically, and from the east. We often imagine the future as rockets roaring, colonies rising, and planets being claimed. But the truth? It starts with missions like this. Long, quiet, methodical steps that redraw the edges of what's possible. And the country willing to take those steps, across decades, across risk, across deep space, will shape the rules of the next era. Tianwen 2 is not the finish line. It's the blueprint. If successful, it won't just collect rocks. It will unlock strategies for deep space infrastructure, off-world construction, and a new economy beyond Earth. And as we look to the sky, we might one day realize the space race isn't about who gets there first anymore. It's about who stays and who builds.